There are several actors who appear in both the Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings franchises, lending their talents to the two biggest titles in fantasy media. Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies predate the popularity of Game of Thrones by over a decade, and it made sense for HBO to target actors from recognizable fantasy and historical fiction titles when developing their series. For example, Lena Headey was best known for her role in 300, Peter Dinklage appeared in the Chronicles of Narnia, and Sean Bean famously played Boromir in Lord of the Rings. In the aftermath of Game of Thrones and the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, both franchises have expanded with prequel spin-offs. House of the Dragon and the Rings of Power have continued the trend of casting actors from the opposite franchise. After all, finding actors for period dramas is incredibly difficult, and these titles are known for doing an excellent job of finding the right talent to bring iconic book characters to life. 6 actors appeared in titles from both franchises, including specifically named characters rather than extras. Sean Bean, Ned Stark and Boromir. The actor, Sean Bean, is an English actor primarily known for his supporting roles in various movies and TV shows. In the 1990s, he rose to prominence as the lead in the British series Sharpe. In Game of Thrones, Sean Bean played Ned Stark, the lead role in the first season of Game of Thrones. Though he only had a brief tenure in the series, he remains one of the most memorable and iconic characters in television history. Ned Stark's death ultimately changed the landscape of what audiences could come to expect in the modern age of TV. In Lord of the Rings, in The Fellowship of the Ring, Sean Bean played Boromir, the son of the Steward of Gondor. Though ultimately a hero who sacrifices himself to protect the hobbits, Boromir is a conflicted character who finds himself subject to the allure of the One Ring. Joseph Mawle. Benjen Stark and Adar. The actor, Joseph Mawle, is an English character actor who's appeared in dozens of movies and TV shows since the early 2000s. His most notable roles include The Hallow and Ripper Street. In Game of Thrones, Joseph Mawle played Benjen Stark mostly in Season 1 of Game of Thrones. He's the first Ranger of the Night's Watch who supports Jon Snow when he seeks to join the Order. Benjen goes missing beyond the Wall early in Season 1 and doesn't return until much later, where he's discovered to be partially undead but still sentient. In Lord of the Rings, in The Rings of Power Season 1, Joseph Mawle plays the original character, Adar. He was an elf who was corrupted by Morgoth, turning him into an Uruk. He becomes a leader of the orcs in the Second Age, making him a direct rival to Sauron. Robert Aramayo. Young Ned Stark and Elrond. The actor, Robert Aramayo, is a young actor who's been working for a little over a decade, appearing in titles like Nocturnal Animals, The King's Man and Antebellum. In Game of Thrones, Aramayo plays a younger version of Ned Stark who's seen in visions during Seasons 6 and 7. When Bran Stark becomes the Three-Eyed Raven, he looks into the past and sees this version of Ned at the Tower of Joy. While only playing a minor role in the series, Aramayo is in one of the most memorable scenes of the series, which revealed Jon Snow's parentage for the first time in Lord of the Rings. In Prime Video's The Rings of Power cast, Aramayo plays Elrond. Hugo Weaving previously played the role in Peter Jackson's movies, so Robert Aramayo plays a younger, more hopeful interpretation of the character. Elrond has been one of the show's main characters in both seasons. Ciarán Hinds. Mance Raider and the Dark Wizard. The actor, Ciarán Hinds, is an Irish actor who's been contributing phenomenal performances to film and television for decades. Aside from his fantasy performances, he's known for movies like There Will Be Blood and Belfast, as well as TV shows like Rome and The Terror. In Game of Thrones, Ciarán Hinds plays Mance Raider, the king beyond the wall, in a recurring role between Seasons 3 and 5. He unites the largest force of wildlings the North has ever seen and leads an assault on Castle Black before Stannis Baratheon intervenes. In Lord of the Rings, in The Rings of Power Season 2, Hinds joins the cast as the mysterious Dark Wizard, an antagonist who leads a cult in the Land of Run. Season 2 set him up to be a villain working against Gandalf, and he's likely one of the Astari. Graham McTavish. Harold Westerling and Dwalin. The actor, Graham McTavish, is a Scottish character actor who's appeared in several prominent titles, including Creed, Outlander, and AMC's Preacher. In Game of Thrones, Graham McTavish appears in Season 1 of House of the Dragon as Harold Westerling, a knight of the Kingsguard and Rhaenyra Targaryen's personal sentry. When the Greens usurp the Iron Throne in Season 1, he storms off out of loyalty to Rhaenyra. However, he doesn't return in Season 2. In Lord of the Rings, in Peter Jackson's The Hobbit trilogy, Graham McTavish plays the dwarf Dwalin. Though he doesn't have much specific characterization, he's present in all 3 movies as a supporting protagonist.